here from newhometricks.com, and today I want to talk a little bit more about our Philips Hue smart lighting setup, and in particular the Philips Hue Tap Switches that we've now got installed in various rooms in our house where we've got the Philips Hue smart lighting set up. The reason that we got hold of these was really to make sure that we had an easy way of controlling the lights in the rooms where we had Philips Hue installed. I think that it's quite important to have something like that set up, primarily because really with technology like this, it's at its most optimum when it kind of fades into the background and you're not having to think too much about how to control it and how to make it work the way that you want. Most of the time, you're going to walk into a room and if you want to turn the lights on, you just want to flick a switch or push a button and have the lights come on. That is the way that most people are used to controlling lighting in a sort of standard, normal lighting setup without any kind of smart lights. You walk into the room, you reach for the light switch and turn the lights on, turn them off when you leave the room. So going from that to a system where you have to kind of get your smartphone out and unlock it and find the right app and then go to the right place to turn the lights on, that would feel like a kind of a step backwards. And no matter how easy and simple somebody might make an app on a phone and make that as easy to use as possible, it's always going to be inferior to simply being able to push a button and turn the lights on. And that's why most of the more well-developed smart lighting systems out there do include some kind of physical device like this that you can use to turn the lights on and off. Philips have got two. They've got this, which is the Philips Hue Tap Switch, and then they've also got the Philips Hue Dimmer Switch, which is a slightly different device. This was the first one that they'd released, and the great thing about this is that it is completely wireless and totally battery-free. No recharging, no battery of any kind. You don't need to plug this in. It's completely wireless and operates based on the energy generated from you pushing the button. And that is enough to transmit the signal even over quite a long range. We're using these in our bedroom, is one of the places where we've got these set up, and that's at the highest point in the house. It's a three-story building, and the Philips Hue Bridge is way down on the ground floor. So these things will work over a decent range, even though there's no battery of any kind here. So completely wireless, and as you can see, it's also mobile. You can roam around with these things. When you want to put them on a wall somewhere, you simply attach a base plate using a couple of sticky pads, and they are removable sticky pads. They're very easily removed if you want to reposition the tap switch, and then you simply twist the tap switch into place, and then it's very easy to twist off again if you want to take it with you in the room and use it as a kind of small remote control. There are three buttons on the face of the device. There's the sort of large face button which you can push here like this, and then if you push the button whilst also depressing one of these other three inset buttons, then you can trigger other actions. It's completely customizable within the Philips Hue app. You simply go into the settings section and then go into the accessory setup part of the app. From there you can control and set up any of the tap switches that you've got or add new ones. If you go into any of the tap switches that you've got, you can then simply tap on the relevant part of the representation of the button inside the app and then assign a scene to it, which is fairly easy to do. And those scenes could be any of the pre-programmed scenes from within Philips Hue. It could be scenes that you've set up yourself. And of course there's a off scene if you want to have a button to turn the lights off, which you naturally would. By default, the main faceplate button is the off scene, but you can assign your own to this as you see fit. Now, the default behavior of this switch is fairly easy to use, and of course, as I say, you can customize this as you want. And once you've got this set up and pre-programmed it with the scenes that you want, this can then be the main way that you turn the lights on and off in a room as you walk in and out. So for example, in our living room, we've got one button defined for a kind of warm white light setup that we use in an evening just to have a nice sort of cozy lighting for the evening. There's another button that we've got set up to have the lights come on at sort of full brightness. So you can set these things up exactly how you want. And this has become so essential for us with our Philips Hue light setup that we've got them in every room where we've got Philips Hue at the moment. So that's the living room, we've got them in the kitchen, we've got them in the bedroom. In fact, we've got two in the bedroom. We've got one on the wall next to the door, so you can just press the button as you walk into the room, and then we've got another one above the bed so that you can just push the button to turn the lights off when you're ready to go to sleep. So we've got these everywhere. These are kind of really useful. It's certainly much more useful than going into the app and finding the right place. Don't get me wrong, the Philips Hue app is very good, but these are just better. These things help you have that kind of push-button lighting experience that most of the time you're going to want to have. It's great to be able to go into the app and change the lighting and stuff like that to suit your mood, but most of the time you're going to probably stick to just certain light routines, light scenes that you want to use and activate, and having them set up on a button like this is very convenient to do. You can also extend the functionality of this using Philips Hue Labs. There are a couple of labs that we've got set up on some of the lights in our home. One of them, which we found really invaluable, is the Philips Hue Tap Toggle formula in Philips Hue Labs. By default, the normal behavior of the tap switch is that when you push a button, it just activates the scene that's assigned to that button on your tap switch. And that means that if you push the button again, it doesn't turn the lights off, it just reactivates the same scene. So it doesn't do anything if you just keep pushing the button. If you want to sort of put this into kind of toggle mode, so it's one push to turn the lights on and then one push again to turn the lights off, then you can use the Philips Hue Tap Toggle formula to override the default behavior. And we've done that with quite a few of the tap switch buttons, and you assign that to each button individually that you want to use with the tap toggle formula. So that means that you can have extra light scenes assigned here, because normally you might have 3 light scenes assigned and then another one for off. If you're using tap toggle, you can have a 4th light scene assigned and then you just press the button again to turn the lights off using that toggle functionality. There's also a dimmer switch mode that you can add to the tap switch using Philips Hue Labs, what they call tap dimmer, and that means that you can push the button for a certain level of brightness and then keep pushing it again to cycle through various brightness levels that are assigned to that button. So in that regard, you can use it as a kind of a dimmer switch. Even though you've not necessarily got full radial control, you can use it as a dimmer switch in that regard. So these kind of things are really useful, and we found them to be invaluable. You can stick them anywhere you want, as mentioned, using the sticky pads. Now, sometimes that can come into conflict with an existing ordinary light switch that you've got set up in your home, and people have all sorts of different ways of dealing with this. Some people will go as far as removing the light switch and just put a blanking plate over the top. You can get little covers that you can put over your light switch to stop you from accidentally turning the light power off using the normal wall switch. In our home, there's a few places where this isn't really necessary because the normal light switch has ended up on the wrong side of the door because the door's been reversed, and so you would walk in and there would not be a light there for you to turn on. But now we're able to put these in place, and it gives us a light switch. So really useful to have this kind of thing. And regardless of whether you're using Philips Hue or some other system, you're going to want to check out whether or not you can find some sort of remote control button that you can put on the wall just to make it easier for you to continue to control your smart lighting in a very easy and friendly, convenient way, just as you would with regular lighting. Just flick the switch, push a button, and control your lighting in that way. So a bit of an ode to the tap switch there. We really like this. I've written up a companion blog post, as always. You'll find the link to that in the description below, or check out the website newhometricks.com. If you've liked this video, please share it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.